However conscientiously we try to manage our own rubbish, most of us probably don't give much of a second thought to what happens to it after it's taken away. And insofar to the extent that we do think about these things at all, we often assume that it's transported, stored and processed in a pretty orderly way, out of sight and out of mind, away from homes and away from people. But for many of my constituents who live in and around Avonmouth, in the west of my Bristol North West constituency, Mr. Bone, the everyday reality of living close to a concentration of these facilities can be challenging. The most immediate challenge in the surrounding areas, and my main concern for the debate today, is the volume of flies that can be associated with the processing of this waste and the impact it has on local residents and their community. This is a quality of life issue for hundreds of my constituents, featured prominently in local media and in correspondence to my office, and it has got markedly worse over that period in the increase of bundles being processed each year. In particular, it's the summer months when there can be a particular problem, when heat and humidity combines alongside an increase in the amount of processing of waste. We see a spike in the number of flies in the local community. And in the absence of a permanent solution, local residents have had to get used to installing nets and fly traps, stocking up on fly spray and keeping windows and doors closed during hot weather. This evidently is not an enjoyable way of life. The company I've already mentioned, New Earth Solutions, had this issue where they didn't have the investment or the capital available to maintain the highest possible standards, and surely that must be a consideration for planning and environment agency powers, because it has an impact on the character and economic prospects of an area. Many residents in Avonmouth, in my constituency, feel doubly trapped and frustrated because they can't sell their homes because of the press coverage and the local understanding that at points in the summer, you've got families eating their dinners under mosquito nets. The pub has to close because it feels unable in order to serve its customers. It puts a tone on the community that nobody wants to have where they live. They want to be part of a vibrant community where outdoor spaces can be enjoyed in the summer, and it does take a toll on community life. This area, like so many others, not just in my constituency but in others, Mr. Bone, deserve a diverse range of high-quality, well-paid jobs in a community in which people feel happy and able to live and enjoy the outdoor environment. We have to be careful that by clustering these facilities and not having the proper rules and enforcement powers to deal with them, we're not creating kind of waste capitals across the country where local residents will just have to do. It doesn't have to be this way, and we can make changes. It is very clear from my perspective that there is no consent from my constituents in Avonmouth or indeed the surrounding areas in Bristol North West for this to continue or for it to have been put in place as it has been in the first place. And I've been left, therefore, with no other choice but to bring it to the floor of the House in an adjournment debate to raise it with the Minister, because, like my constituents, Mr. Bone, I've ran out of places to go. I've come to dead ends in trying to find a solution to this, and I can therefore only conclude that it is the government and the Minister's department that is the best and only place left to try to find some solutions to fix these issues for my constituents, but also for those in other parts of the country. Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
The question